All right, we gotta get started. We gotta start this thing up. We gotta start it up. How you doing, everybody? How are you? Hello. How's it going? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. And I do mean happy Tuesday. Thursday is going to be a bit nuts. Tuesday has been light on the nuts, a sprinkling of nuts, as it were. Tomorrow might get a little chunky with a slight chance of nuts in the afternoon. But there is apparently a nuts tornado. This analogy went way off the rails early. I'm sorry. Because Trump is apparently going to turn himself into the Fulton County Jail on Thursday. Fulton County Jail! It just sounds, I have to say, every time I hear them say Fulton County Jail on the news, it sounds like a Johnny Cash demo. I went down to the Fulton County Jail, and I was looking kind of orange and ever so slightly pale, and I had to turn myself in for an insurrection charge. And they need to find a cell that was big as a barge. I'm lonely here without Melania. Sorry. Where have you gone, yeah, my lovely wife? See what happens? You wind me up this early. It's a mistake. It's bound to happen. Anyways, like, subscribe, welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Bless you for being here. And can I a couple of things? Let's do some housekeeping right out of the gate. I think it's next Tuesday. Yeah, is the next jam. Wha-bam! At the and I will be. I'm gonna front load for the first time ever. I'm gonna front load a little video. I don't know how long it'll be, probably 10 minutes or so. But I'm going to front load it for that day, so you guys have something to watch on the days that I'm gone for that thing, just to help out. And it's, more of a deep dive in the zone of the kind of things that I've been... I've been so aggravated by the zombie lies lately that I have started doing PowerPoint presentations, and it's bad. So I've decided to start putting some of them in video form, because right? Anyways, I'm fine. And then the following Wednesday, I'm back at Flappers. Our dear, I missed last month because of a funeral, which I think is, as a comedian, the only excuse you can actually have for missing a show. And not because I was doing jokes there. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But next week in LA, I'll be there 2 days in a row. Might even stay through the Thursday. Who knows? It'll be a crazy run. But just letting you guys know, Tuesday and Wednesday, we will have our regular shows on Wednesday, though, regardless of whether I'm staying there or not. We will also have, though, a live stream of the stand-up show for our patrons. So patreon.com/AlSparks. Free comedy. I mean, come on. It's cheaper than a ticket to a live show, and you could watch it from the comfort. You could fart up your own house. I'm just saying. And now, granted, your chicken wings are not going to be as good as the one at Flappers. And I have to say, on my new diet, the steak that the dude makes for me is fucking magic. I was shocked. Because here's the two things that they always have for me at Flappers. They'll feed you, which is good, I think. And obviously after, because who does comedy on a full stomach? Louis Anderson and John Panetta and Gabriel Iglesias. Those guys can do comedy on a full stomach. I cannot. As a matter of fact, I think it's necessary. I think that's part of the gig. I think it's kind of like it's like Kinnison and Blow. You know what I mean? Like, it's necessary. That said, I can't do it. I got to eat afterwards. But they have it ready for me, after the show, and it's fantastic. And they also have kombucha. A long time ago, in my rider, I had kombucha, and by God, Flappers honors it every goddamn time. They are never going to be held wanting in the, or found wanting, rather, in the brown M&Ms category. You know what I mean? Where they're not looking at the fine print, and boom, kombucha. Now, I've made the mistake a couple of times of drinking it on stage while I do the show. And it's not good, because I need to hydrate when I'm up there and I'm moving around and doing stuff, and you gotta wet your whistle. If that's your idea of a good time. Beats a sharp stick in the eye. And the kombucha's not gonna do it. You cannot guzzle kombucha. You know what I mean? It's like mineral water. It's like guzzling a LaCroix. LaCroix. I know Hal's Ryder going to miss me when I'm gone. Thanks, Mozart. Anyways, by the way, hello, chat room. Hello, everybody. And welcome new members. Look at that. Valerie, nice timing, Valerie, I have to say. Fantastic. Yeah, there's memberships on YouTube and all that stuff. And it's just, there's a variety of ways to help the show. So please do. That's all I'm saying. And thanks for sharing. Look at this, sharing the stream. That's just, you guys. I'm going to get all pink-cheeked. And I mean here. Now, lots to talk about today. I don't even know where the fuck to start because the panic attack is in full force. Now, I was looking up, I have to say, maybe I'll be able to find it on here. Although Trump has been doing this thing lately where he is hiding, he's making some of his videos unlisted on his Rumble site so that they can play them elsewhere first or give people a, yep. Yeah. And he sends it out like in emails because it won't be listed on his site until it's too late. Let's see. You go back to here. So we have to start, and these are the shortest ones, obviously. So we can jump right into these. Bless you, thank you. Outrageous. Oh, I forgot to turn my outrageous thing off from last time. Although I have no doubt there'll be some level of outrage today. He looks great though, isn't he? He looks really comfortable. It's relaxed. You know what I mean? There's an ease in everything. You just see his face and you're just kind of like, that is a man who is gliding through life. Like, honest to God, he looks like he's, it is constipated justice. That's what I think when I see his face. That and that's why I don't buy oranges, because they sit there and then they go bad and I don't eat them. That's the other reason. That's the other thing I think. The other thing I think is he gets new teeth every 18 months or something like that. Rather than brush or floss, he just goes and gets them rotated like NASCAR tires. That's the rumor has it. Okay, so anyways, the Mess D'Souza has posted this, and I don't know if it's copied directly from his phone or what, but we'll see. Here we go. This is Donald Trump. Trump lays out epic new economic agenda to fight the effects of Bidenomics. Bam! Let's turn this boat around. Having under 4% unemployment? Fuck that. Wages climbing? Fuck that. Like, all we're going to do is he's basically going to turn the things you can control back towards where they were, and then let the things that you can't control cascade out of control and drive us off a cliff. That's the plan. Basically, Marianne Williamson is his economic advisor right now, except she means well. Her ideas are just ridiculous. He means ill with the same ridiculous ideas.
One of the most important issues in this campaign will be who can rescue our country from the burning wreckage of Bidenomics.
The burning wreckage? Cut. Fucking 7 seconds in. Burning wreckage of shit.
Will be who can rescue our country from the burning wreckage of...
Wreckage. Wreckage? Ugh. It's gonna be one of those, isn't it? Fucking... I lied. By the way, he fucked that up 6 seconds in. I only stopped it at 7. Check this shit out. 6 seconds in, the dude fucker can't fucking start again. Burning wreckage. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. They teach you that in acting class and in elocution classes and in dictation classes so that you can fucking use your lips and tongue in the right order. Fuckity fuck. Dude hosted a fucking game show. He can't wreckage.
Bidenomics, which shall henceforth be defined as inflation, taxation, submission, and failure.
Why? You could say that 4 times fast. Inflation, taxation. All right. What were the 4 again?
Shall henceforth be defined.
Henceforth.
Defined as inflation, taxation, submission, and failure.
And if you say it in order, you get extra points. It will be from now on, Trumponomics will be defined as person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world.
And all it took was hundreds of thousands of dead Americans to open up some jobs and slow down the economy, and of course lower gas prices to almost nothing because no one was going anywhere or doing anything in the entire fucking world.
In fact, we did it twice, and when I get back in the Oval Office,
we'll do it a third time.
We will do it again, and it'll be bigger and better.
Magoo! Make America great over and over.
And stronger than ever before. On day one, the Biden economic bust will be replaced with the historic Trump economic boom.
The Biden boom thing bothers him a lot. So they're trying to throw in Biden bust. They want Biden bust in there. The problem is, bust is a very distinct thing. It's like a stock market crash. It has to be kind of like that. Dealing with inflation and higher costs and the kind of rotation of the availability of goods and supply chain issues is much more malleable than a crash like 2008 or something. So he's trying to swap those words, Biden boom and bust, and it drives him crazy that it's just, it's the Trump dump, I guess, is what he's afraid of.
Any numbers you see that are economically positive in the Biden administration are because they're running on the fumes of
3 years of fumes. Holy shit. Okay, first of all, let's put the ridiculousness of the entire concept aside for a second and recognize this man has never driven a car in his fucking life. Can't drive a car. Can't drive. And he sure as shit has never been in the same position you and I have been in, where we're looking at E on our in our car and going, I could get there. Can I get there? I can get there. I can get that. 32 miles, 28 miles a gallon. How much is uphill? If I take my foot off the gas when I'm going downhill, that'll buy me an extra minute of driving time or whatever. Okay, the gas station there. As long as I don't have to sit and wait for a pump, I'm good. Like, how many of you in the chat room, let me know, because even the trolls have to admit to this. You've been there. Maybe it was when you were younger. Maybe it was back when cars had a crank on them. I know some of you have been around for a long time, and I appreciate you navigating the interwebs as well as you do. But it's real fucking early. Experienced that. I was driving at 13 years old, kids, out in the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get that fucking where you're just like, it's like you're playing chicken with the fucking fuel needle, where you're riding on, and everybody here, running on empty, running long, running right? You know what I'm talking about. Whereas, this motherfucker has no idea what that feeling is like. No idea. Never has, never will. Well, I mean, he might eventually. I mean, I feel like that's maybe that's what going down a ramp by himself, walking in dress shoes feels like. Sure. It's just that's the closest he's ever come. But he's never run on empty in his life in that regard. Well, I mean, maybe the bankruptcies. Sure. But just for the record, you can't run on fucking economic fumes for 3/4 of your fucking presidency, and you sure as shit aren't running on fumes during the good part. If the bad news wasn't part of the fucking fumes, then the good news isn't part of the fucking fumes. Jesus Christ.
What we created years prior.
Oh, look at that. Did you hear that? Did you hear the Freudian slip? Did you hear it? Wait, back up.
Are because they're running on the fumes of.
Yeah, well, who isn't at this point, honestly? Okay.
What we created years.
We created. He honestly, he almost accidentally said cratered. That's what he said. What we cratered years ago. Fuck. It says fuckity fuck. Cratered. Cratered, dummy. You cratered it. Yes, you did. You fucked up.
Prior to their taking office. Let's look at the facts comparing crooked Joe Biden's economic catastrophe with the incredible success of a certain president named Donald J. Trump.
Usually I have other people read this, but I like saying my own name as if I've never even met the fucker. And I kind of haven't, because really, if there's anybody who knows himself less than me, I don't know. I don't know him, which would probably be me.
Under Biden, real incomes have gone down by $7,400 per family.
And yet incomes have gone up.
Under President Trump, yearly income went up by more than $6,000.
As long as you didn't die from COVID. So, that, obviously that was a factor.
After revising Biden's fake job numbers by accounting for returning Trump workers who were already employed before the pandemic.
Yeah, because, once something like a pandemic passes, even if you have like 1 million dead, everybody goes back to work. Okay, guys, emergency over. Everybody just go back magically to doing what you were doing if it's still there when you get back. And all those businesses that disappeared, they just magically came out. I don't even know what you were worried about. What were people bitching about? Now, obviously, some people lost their businesses and had to get government jobs like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's a sad story. But everybody else just went back out there and picked up their shovel and went back to digging graves.
Just 2.1 million new jobs have been created during Biden's first 30 months in office, which is a disgrace. By contrast, during my first 30 months in office, we created 4.9 million new jobs.
Yeah, but you were riding on Obama's fumes half the time, so. Isn't that how it works?
Millions more than the experts predicted. Under Biden, gas prices are up $4, $5, $6, and even to $7 a gallon.
$8. Just go 12. $8, $15 a gallon. 20. It's $20 a gallon. Don't even drive. As a matter of fact, everybody go out and knife your tires just to keep yourself. It's like, because just even getting in it and driving to the gas station, it's like gambling. You're weak.
Inflation has reached the highest level in half a century and more.
Well, it did last year, and then it's come back down. The war had a lot to do with it.
Mortgage rates are pushing a brutal 7% and going higher.
Oh, brutal. And they're going higher. They're almost to the point they were normally forever.
America.
Yeah, it is. Wiffle Poof says it's $9,000 a gallon for gas. That's, if it goes to $9,500, I don't know. I'm getting an electric car. Fuck it. It's time to bite the bullet, really.
Americans now have to pay $366,000 more in interest payments just to purchase a house. When I was
if you flip them.
Your president, the 30-year mortgage rate reached a record low of 2.65%. Wouldn't you like to have that back again?
not to trade for the manufacturing in the country and the infrastructure bill, and of course I wouldn't trade what would effectively be 40% inflation, which is what you'd have to get if you kept it at that, considering the supply shock aspect of that would have been a factor maybe. And here's the point. Also, Trump has to make the argument. Man, he won't. I mean, this is just silliness. I mean, this is he's just doing this because Kudlow was just there, and Kudlow helped him draft this fucking statement. It's just silly. What? I mean, Mark Meadows and flatly requested extension and surrender, which is legally required. Oh, that's nice. Meadows is asked to surrender extension, and he won't get it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Obama. Right. The question is, and this is why he can't do the debates. It's because he can come out and say this shit. It's like part of his opening. Imagine this as part of his opening statement at the debates. And then somebody pushes back and goes, hey, well, what would you have done to counter, the excess money supply, which is the idea, the money printer go burr idea of why we have inflation in the first place, which is not caused by that. It's literally by the reshuffling of the supply chains and moving manufacturing back home, which because of union jobs and the lack of slave labor is why prices are higher. And so everybody who bitches about certain things being more expensive, there are elements of that where it's kind of fuck you, because the only reason they were cheaper is because they were sewn by children, that kind of stuff. Whereas, eggs and shit, obviously, like $3.99 for 2 dozen at Costco, which is where most of his supporters shop.
Inflation was less than 1.9%.
Because no one was going anywhere.
And we had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon.
And again, nowhere to drive to. Oil was negative $26 a fucking barrel.
And in some cases, even lower than that.
Yes, some places, like the villages.
Under Biden, the radical Democrat communists have piled over 10.
Radical Democrat communists. So, all right, radical communist Democrats would be like they're crazy commies who are part of the Democratic Party. Radical Democrat communists means that, I guess what, they're nuts and they have to vote on fucking everything. We need a plurality or we can't move forward with our commie plan. All right, look, are we going to, I don't know, put someone in a chair and reprogram their brain and turn them into a Manchurian candidate? Everyone raise your hand. All those in favor say aye. What are you doing? We're radical Democrat communists. I thought we were radical communist Democrats. No. They're over there digging.
$1,000 of.
What are they digging? I don't know. They just said idle hands of the devil's workshop and they just started digging to China. I don't know what's happening. They've been digging since, I don't know, what is it, 2017?
Job-killing regulatory costs onto the backs of every single American household in less than 3 years. By contrast, under the Trump administration, we cut the cost of job-killing regulations by an amazing $11,000 per household. So,
well, obviously, that's not evenly distributed. Now, for example, like if you live in East Palestine, the cost of that deregulation, it didn't benefit you quite as much. I'm just saying. So, the other people got maybe 11 grand. I don't know how much you got. All of it, everything. It cost you everything. It cost you your house and your life and your water and your job. The deregulation. So everybody else made 11 grand though in New York.
look how that works when you compare them both.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just did, and you're an asshole. I don't know what to tell you.
Under our leadership, 401k savings and retirement accounts were soaring.
Until?
Under Biden, people have been set back for years to come.
Uh-huh. Have they?
Biden even for...
Yeah, the stock market's what is the stock market? 22,000 right now? Like, it's just eating shit since he left. I mean, he predicted it. He said, you know, when Biden takes over, the stock market's going to crash. The Dow is fucked. It's fucked o'clock at the Dow every single day. Yep. Market-based anything in this country can suck it. Jeez. Market-based anything in this country? Semi-go nuts that... I don't know what you mean by that. Market-based is actually the fair price for work and for food gathering and supply. Yeah, the stock market is at 34,000. And stock market based is not quite the same thing as market based. It's just saying.
Forced us into a recession, and then the media tried to change the definition of recession to protect him.
So let me get this right. So he's talking about last year when we had 2 years of contraction, or two quarters of contraction, and therefore we were technically in a recession, but none of the other factors of a recession were actually happening. And largely that was due to both oil prices, the restructuring of the supply chain, and the fact that we were coming out of COVID and just silliness. Again, you can't use the same markers. The analogy I like to use is you've been going to the same doctor for years about your migraines, and he treats your migraines, and he gives you, every time you come in, you're like, yeah, the headaches are back, and he adjusts your prescription and that kind of thing. And then one day you come in with a railroad spike stuck in your fucking head, and he goes, headaches, huh? That's the same thing.
Always trying to protect him.
Oh, yeah. So the idea is that all the good markers of the economy are because they're running on the fumes of the Trump administration. But the fact that we almost had a recession last year are Biden's fault. But the stuff after the recession is Trump fumes. Fucking hell.
But the
bullshit. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to a little segment we call Hello Bullshit. That's right. Where it's just so blatant and silly that we just have to say hi.
People are getting wise to it now.
Are they? Finally. They're getting wise to it now that the recession has passed and we're getting... Fucking hell. Yeah, boy.
It's no surprise that under our leadership, approval of the economy was 3 times higher than it is under Biden.
until
I was president, 63% of Americans rated the economy as excellent or good.
Well, yeah, you were riding on Obama's fumes, right?
Today, that number is just 19%. But America's economic resurgence is coming soon.
Yes, it is. It's actually happening now. And by the way, if I may, let me see if I can find this for you. This is good stuff. Let me open this guy right here. It was a fascinating story I saw in Axios this morning, which I was really, it's always the strangest. Open up, you silly thing. It's always the strangest news sources that finally come around. And where are you? Is it open over here? Is that what this is? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, there we go. Okay, open up over here. There you go. Thanks. So, and I put it under the politics, but there we go. It's probably the last article that I put in there after the thing, and we'll open it here. We'll put this to here, and we open it to, and you'll see this article. America's manufacturing boom could add 250,000 jobs in 2 years. In the next 2 years is what they mean, for the record, by the way. This is an article in Axios from today. Yes. Roughly 200,000 to 250,000 new manufacturing jobs could be added in the U.S. over the next 2 years, according to a new estimate from Goldman Sachs. Why it matters. The increase, which amounts to about 2% of current manufacturing employment. And by the way, how many people in the audience, in general, or how many, I think more specifically, our dear maggots who are with us today. Hello, trolls. Hello. Welcome. Those of you that aren't professional trolls, I welcome you. You have a little bit of respite here. We won't treat you like shit as long as you don't, burst forth with any racial epithets or any kind of, watch your language. And you can pretty much just say whatever stupid shit you want to say. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. But maybe you could this is a good place to come if you're supposed to report back to Trump land that you're over here screaming at the liberals and you're just tired of it because you just feel like you're being jerked around on that side. I understand. So just come over here. Yeah, I'm giving it to them something good. Help me. It's okay. You're allowed. And this would traditionally be what we would call something good for America. And I hope you're rooting for it. I hope you're excited about this idea. And not shit talking it just cause, okay? Yeah? It's a bitter pill. I understand. It's you're chewing aspirin here, but I appreciate you taking your medicine. The increase, which amounts to about 2% of current manufacturing employment levels. How many people in this country know that 250,000 jobs would be 2% of manufacturing in the United States? Think about those numbers for a second. How many people in the think 2%, 2%, 200 to 250,000, about 2% of current manufacturing employment levels. We're going to add 2% to our Let's see if they have a breakdown of it on here. Yeah, here we go. This is the Fred, the St. Louis Fed. Yeah. Here's it's so funny. Here's right about where we're humming along, and then 9/11, and then more Bush stuff, and then pow, we hit 2008, and we've been arcing back, and you'll notice, by the way, that that the Trump year, here's Obama. Then you get up to Trump, and there's this little dip, and then it just continues the way it was going, because these are long-term strategies. And then here's in Trump, March 2020, it takes a giant shit. And then it claws back to about here, and then it just kind of labors around till February of 2021. And then, bam, right back up, nearly uninterrupted, like the gap was just there. And it'll lever out and then pop up. But they're going to add another 200,000 just to this one. There you go. Oh, this is all employees as far as manufacturing. Here's 1980 is the top of it. And then, down a little bit from 2000. And by the way, for the record, the GDP of the entire country started to go up precipitously around 2000, around here, when manufacturing actually went down. At the point of outsource, the generalized GDP of the country continues to climb. Like, I would love to see a chart that's both at the same time, because as we outsourced a lot of those jobs, we also outsource a lot of the physical damage done by those jobs and the physical maladies caused by those jobs and the cancers and all that other stuff from old factory methodologies. Now, new factory methodologies and clean rooms and high tech and all that kind of stuff. We're taking, and OSHA being what it is, those would be, what are those things called? Regulations. That's right. Regulations make it a lot easier to, to have a manufacturing job that won't lead to you being a broken down human being later on in your life. That started making a comeback in this regard. These were a lot of dirty jobs for a long time. These were a lot of manufacturing, but a lot of broken hands, broken backs, worn out systems, a lot of borderline black lung level illnesses in that process. And now, that transfer. But boink, here we go. This is by no means the manufacturing heyday, but also a lot more, middle class jobs. This is the shift over from effectively the working class carrying the brunt of most stuff, and then managerial class starting right around, I would argue, right around here, around 1980. This dip right here, 83. Yeah. Anyways, so that's the idea. Where was this big dummy? Where are we going? Oh, I gotta go back to here. Where? Oh, that's Eric. What am I doing? Oh, that's Greg. Where are you? There he is. Okay, I lost him for a second. Okay. Hal makes a nice statement. Oh, that's sweet. That's awfully sweet of you to say.
With tax cuts, regulatory cuts, tariffs, energy independence, and even...
By the way, tariffs. Just random fucking tariffs. That's going to happen. Just to let you know. He thinks tariffs fix shit.
Energy dominance, which we will have.
We're totally going to have it. We basically already kind of do.
We will end Bidenomics and the disastrous Biden era, the most incompetent president we've ever had.
I swear to God, he's got to be dookying right now. Listen to the end of that. How do you finish the sentence where...
And the disastrous Biden era, the most incompetent president we've ever had.
It can't be just me. Hold on one second. I think, where are we? It has a very distinct...
God, sorry, I farted.
You know what I mean?
Will soon be over. We will do it quickly. We will do it effectively. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much.
And also, he had... What do you... Just keep going, you silly thing. Try again. Continue.
Let's talk about some of those weights on Donald Trump.
I don't want to talk about those. I want to I have a computer over here that is updating, and it just doesn't want to update. Okay, quit. What happened? Oh, there it goes. It basically said, you want to continue installing? You want to continue installing? I'm going to click yes, fuck it, no, and then it starts installing. That's how behind this computer is. All right. Anyways, so, needless to say, that was a direct offshoot of that Larry Kudlow interview that he did the other day, where Larry Kudlow was blowing smoke up his ass and trying to keep him on message about how great things were, the heyday of the height of Trumpistan. And ultimately, I gotta say, you're gonna hear that exact same gish gallop of horse shit over and over again, where COVID never happened. That's the key thing. The entire point of his economic, and never mind the fact that we officially entered a recession in February of 2020. This is before the shutdowns, before any of that shit. We officially entered a recession in February of 2020. One that was on its way, and that they'd been manipulating, shuffling money around to try and stave off for as long as fucking possible. And the weird thing was, if Trump had just sort of bit the bullet and experienced his Trump recession in early 2019, they hadn't tried to, get everybody to sort of play ball with him and make it so that it doesn't exist and, fudge the numbers, he would have gotten through it. And then by the time the election came around, it would be, it'd be like, we had a recession, and that was because of the last guy. It's because of the fumes of the Obama administration, and I fixed it, though, and we're fine. And we rode right through that. It was the shortest recession ever. Even if it was the longest, he could still say that, and his followers would go, So but he didn't. He did everything he could, and that's when you'll recall in 2019 he was specifically yelling at the Fed. He was so angry at the Fed for not doing negative interest rates, right? Remember, he wanted interest rates to be negative, half a point or negative 1 point or whatever. Basically, also so that he could take all the debt that we'd accrued because of his unfunded tax credit that he'd given out, his his only for corporations, temporarily for people tax credit tax break that he gave. He wanted to get rid of that debt essentially by refinancing it. And the only way you could actually do that was if it didn't cost you anything, or if you made money having debt, which is what he was hoping for. Because also, if he could, let's understand that on two fronts, this would have helped Trump in an amazing way. And keeping the rates really low helped his family business too, because real estate benefited from it. It's why you had these huge swaths of giant corporations like BlackRock and others buying up large tracts of land and buying up apartment complexes and shit all over the place, because the money was so cheap, you could borrow at so low a number. And if you're already got the leverage of other properties, even if they're bullshit, even if it's a lie, like most of his properties were, you could still leverage that and buy more property, right? You could still buy, if you have a building, it's not worth half of what you say it is, but you could find a bank at that amount if interest rates were 1.5%, 2%, that would give you the money, because even if they just sat on the building and had to fight you in court and get it back, long term, the value of that real estate, if it took a couple of years for you to fuck around and find out, they would make money on the deal. The bank would make money on you being a terrible investment because the interest rate was so low. And if they drive it below negative, and Trump knows the date they're going to do it, and like one fucking phone call to Don Jr. or Eric, and they are refinancing every fucking property they have long term. Now, granted, Trump is an idiot and he didn't even read his own ghostwritten book. So in the one case where, like in Chicago, Trump Tower there, everybody else who's a partner in that, they refinanced when the number was low. And for some reason, Trump didn't. And maybe it was because Eric was running shit or Don was running shit and they're just as stupid as their dad. But they literally are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more in interest and in taxes because they just didn't do normal business. Because I think he probably had Don and Eric, and maybe he was pulling these levers himself, thought he could actually make that happen. He could make negative interest rates happen. So he was just waiting, like, you watch, these fuckers are going to lock themselves in on a 30-year for this, their part of this building, and I'm going to get it below that, and then I'll lie, you watch, I'm going to lock in a negative interest rate, which is horse shit and crazy talk. But it seems to be what he thought, because he didn't pull the trigger on any of his refinance opportunities when he had them. And it's not because they don't know how to do that, because they do that all the time. The difference is that I think they expected him to have more power economically than he did. And then when he lost the election, he's like, fuck! And that was that. Is Hal going to show the GOP debate tomorrow? Yes, I will. We're gonna take it live. Although I might have to figure out how to do it an hour after, like start an hour later, and not do it at the exact same time so that they don't shut me down. Because that's what we ran into with CNN. And I don't doubt that, Fox and those guys will be rolling around throwing cease and desists everywhere. And I don't want to get hits on my fucking channel. Of course, I could also, maybe I could put Snapchat filters on everybody. And then flip the image and then pitch shift the audio. That wouldn't be irritating. But that's it. We'll see. But yes, I will. I will be doing the debate tomorrow, somewhere around that time. We'll figure out how to make it happen. So where are we? Oh yes. Okay. Let me dump this. And now next up, it's hard to choose. But since we were just talking about him, this is Eric Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Trump. Interestingly enough. Remember how they used to talk about how Joe Biden, and by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, do anything you can to help us out. Venmo, Venmo. Help us buy a new computer because this one's not going to... It's restarting. I'll just tell you that. It's got the little... Watching the bar go across it. And it stopped again. Keep going. Go. Go, you fucker. Go. Oh. Maybe. Okay. This is the laptop is just... Anyways. So... We, they used to talk about Biden about where he would, he was the gaffe king and he would say shit before he was supposed to say shit and he would say the wrong thing or he would be, quite frankly, most of Biden's gaffes, thank you, Dragon X Flyer. I couldn't possibly get worse, by the way. She was just saying, I'm getting better at self-promoting. Thanks. If you pay attention, Biden's biggest problem oftentimes when he quote unquote gaffes is that he says that honestly he's too truthful in a political sphere. And the best example I think is the gay marriage thing where everybody was like, okay, we know half the country everybody's cool with civil unions and it's going to be a little while before everybody's on board with gay marriages. And so let's push the civil union thing until people come around and we'll try to drive the conversation a little bit if we can help and do it. But ultimately the idea is to make sure that, gay people have the right to get married across the entire country and that's that and whatever. And we'll just call it civil unions. Everybody agree? Civil unions. We're for civil unions. That way they can't, the religious nutcases can't corner us in the election and stuff. And Biden's like, I think gay people should get married. Honestly, if they should be allowed to get married. People, they should be, if they want to get married, they should be able to get married. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's how it went down. And it's not surprising at all. Whereas Eric tends to be the sort of the weird, dark id version of this. Eric Trump exposes Biden's, quote, getting away with murder, deeply personal to me. Because, I don't know if you know this, but Eric Trump has been murdered by the Bidens, and it was very upsetting, and now he is back from the dead to tell us all about it. And luckily, in the window when he could achieve human form, after a class on flicking bottle caps in a New York subway, he was able to rematerialize for a very, very narrow window. And luckily, Newsmax had a slot open on one of their shows and, of course, a studio available with the special camera where you can see people. So, yes, this is Eric Zombie Trump telling us how it's very personal. Guys, oh, dear God. I didn't know it was going to be. We're doubling up on the Erics. Eric Bowling is, talk about doubling up, is doubling up on the marzipan these days. America last, Americans last. Is this the idea that he waited until the emergency part was over to visit Maui rather than fly in there and just pee in the corners like Trump would if he went at all?
At home and abroad.
So sad. He doesn't even care. By the way, why are they so fucking quiet? Here you go.
In doing so, they're proving Joe Biden's mantra, America last,
It's a mantra.
Americans last.
America last, Americans last, Americanese last.
Now let's bring in for reaction.
And I mean that seriously. Let's bring in Eric Trump, shall we, right now? Somebody who can put a smile on my face, if I can still smile with all this Botox.
The executive vice president for the Trump Organization.
Really? Really? Your dad's the head of the company. Your CFO's in jail. You haven't been promoted. Executive vice president, but Don Jr.'s a vice president. Who the fuck is the president of it now, technically? Who's the CEO? Couldn't you be CEO, I guess? Oh, no, I forgot. You're too stupid.
Eric Trump, Big E. Good push.
Eric Trump McGee? Wait. Biggie?
The executive vice president for the Trump Organization, Eric Trump, Big E.
Oh, Big E. I see. So that would make you Little E?
Good push and a half right here, Monday.
Good what? I'm sorry, good what?
For the Trump Organization, Eric Trump, Big E. Good push and a half right here.
Good pussing to have. That's the great thing. Eric Trump, more cussing for the pussing. Thanks for being on the show.
Monday. Friday, Joe Biden said, America first. Well, that makes us poor. Well, perhaps in the D.C. swampland it does, but not certainly middle America and the average voter. I think America first actually works. You can weigh in on that or some of the things that we found out about Hunter over the weekend. What are your thoughts on what's going on?
Yeah, say something about what he said about something.
In D.C.
Yeah, and point out the fact that he's in D.C. and you're not. You're in like, we're both in down home America. I mean, you can tell by the wood and the crackling fire behind us that fuck. All right, we're both in big cities and we both went to elite schools.
Well, listen, every single Biden policy has made
Jesus Christ. What are you calling in on a Nokia? The fuck?
America poor. Look at gas prices. Look at inflation. Inflation's outpacing wage growth by, huge leaps and bounds. I mean, we've had a runaway
huge leaps and bounds. I think we have another Wharton graduate, ladies and gentlemen.
Inflation. We've had an economy that people don't feel confident in.
We have an economy?
Huge leaps and bounds. I mean, we've had a runaway inflation. We've had an economy that people don't feel.
We've had economy, which is, that's where the insiders make all the money, and the out-economy, that's you, the average American.
Feel confident in. Consumer confidence is at all-time low. Gas.
No. I think it was at an all-time low during COVID.
Prices are through the roof. Everything's more expensive. I mean, it's.
Well, you do realize if you drive your car through your actual roof, it's not the cost of gas that's really the major expense there.
Housing's through the roof. Food's through.
It's interesting when your house is through the roof. That's a little. I mean, that. You know what? I don't even know why I'm questioning it. I was trying to make it work out in my head, but ultimately, he's the real estate magnate. Maybe houses can be through the roof. I don't know.
The roof, I mean.
Is everything through the... Is the roof the standard? Is the roof on fire, and do you care, or should we just let the motherfucker burn?
Every single consumer staple has gone up. I mean, he's made...
Even staples. Staples are through the roof. Which I guess if you have a really porous roof and it's really weak.
Made this country poor. Look at my father. He had the lowest energy prices in history. You had the lowest unemployment.
Okay, first of all, no. Lowest energy history, no. Not even close. I don't even know what that fucking means. Are we gonna, we can go back to Roman times. Back in the 1800s, gas was $3 a gallon, and my dad fixed that part. Also, just the fact that this motherfucker is saying my dad a bunch is embarrassing. Anyways, what was he saying?
In the history of this nation, the lowest African American.
Hold on.
You had the lowest energy prices in history. You had the lowest unemployment in the history of this nation, the lowest African American unemployment.
He also had the highest unemployment in the last 90 years. I think since the Great Depression. Because everybody just stopped working. You're not going to count that? You're just going to blow it off? You're just going to go, the 14 days to stop the spread didn't stop the spread and didn't last 14 days? You're not going to bring that up at all?
The lowest Hispanic unemployment. Our economy was absolutely rotten.
Yeah, but I would like to say that Biden has more giant rabbits working than you ever did. And if you don't believe me, I think Donnie Darko voted for Trump just to be a fucker.
Manufacturing was coming back to the United States.
And now it actually is. During Trump, it was. It didn't, but it was. It always was. Kind of like his healthcare plan was. It was always 2 weeks away.
I could go on and on. I mean,
oh, believe me, you are.
Regulations were being cut by leaps and bounds. He wasn't.
The regulation cuts were through the roof and by leaps and bounds. Basically, there was no regulation against you climbing on your roof and jumping off.
Sending over hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine while, states like Hawaii.
The Ukraine. Yeah, I spotted that too. Ukraine's a country. It's not a territory. When you say the Ukraine, that's the Russian talking point. It's weird. Most people don't make that mistake anymore. It's weird that this guy would.
They suffer, right? I mean, there's natural disasters. You've got these massive fires that have taken down half of a state, half of a, island in a state. And
half of an island in a state. Well said. Yeah. So you've been there.
You have cargo planes flying over it to go to the Ukraine as opposed to actually helping the people who are United States.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason why a cargo plane would fly towards Hawaii and over China and Russia to get to Ukraine either. I'm sorry. For a moment I was pretending he gave a fuck.
Citizens, it's a disgrace, but there
Ugh.
isn't a single economic factor that Biden has done a good job on. And
No, terrible. The infrastructure bill is terrible. Removing lead pipes from the ground is terrible. Rebuilding bridges and other stuff, terrible. Just like reinvesting in nuclear, wind, and solar, it's terrible. The chip factories that are coming online, all 9 of them, the multi-billion-dollar facilities that are being put in there, they're going to add hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs. This terrible. It's awful. And the fact that like black unemployment, while it was lowering during the Trump administration, it never actually got any closer to the mean of the rest of the country. And now it's actually tightening towards what is effectively the average for Americans, which is ultimately your goal. You want unemployment to be basically the same for everybody, no matter what their race is. And, you'd want that to tighten. That never happened during Trump, of course.
And you compare that to 4 years ago, this country was rocking and rolling. And
you're not going to compare it to 3 years ago? Why is that? 4 years ago. So basically, so you're just abdicating we're just going to breeze right past a cruise ship with Americans on it, where a deadly disease is working its way through, and Trump doesn't want it to actually come ashore and let those people off so they can go to a fucking hospital, because he doesn't want to add to the numbers of people with COVID in the fucking country and screw with his numbers internationally. So he just lets Americans sit on a fucking cruise ship and stew. We're just going to breeze right past that part.
The entire world was envious of the United States of America.
Yeah, I think
that actually defines how they feel now.
so, you're hitting on a couple of things there.
Yeah, a couple things.
Insane that we're going to send. I think
Crazy.
Joe Biden offered $700 per household for Maui households, and how many?
No. You got 9 different organizations down there. The initial rental assistance was $700 per household, and that was per. Most of the divided with the apartments and that kind of stuff. You're talking about basically doubling it for if you have a kid, that kind of stuff. You're getting it's giving you seed money to find a place, and they're putting you up in hotels or emergency shelters for people who are staying, period. This is just dumb. This is just normal government stuff.
Thousands upon thousands of dollars per household are we sending in foreign aid around the world. It's actually
around the world. Yeah, you're right. Fuck Israel. I think that's what you're trying to say, right, Eric? Which Eric am I talking to? Both Erics? Eric squared?
disgusting and insulting.
Yeah, it's disgusting and insulting that we've had wildfires in California and you didn't give a rat fuck and you agreed with Rand Paul when he thought the people who were affected by Hurricane Sandy should just take a fucking 2x4 up the ass and just live with it because they were stupid enough to live on the wrong beach at the wrong time. And yeah, it's just disgusting. Now you care. This is the interesting thing, is that now that some of the money is going to push back against Russia, that's when you're mad about foreign aid? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure these motherfuckers didn't want any funds going to, our UN support and peacekeepers and whatnot in Rwanda and the Congo, places like that. I mean, if he'd brought it up at the time. But he brought this up himself.
The other thing, what people aren't understanding, they're...
Yeah, people, you don't understand this. People. How many people in chat? We got a large group in here. Look at this. Look at this huge group. Thank you. And I didn't even tell you guys to share the show. Although we had somebody lovely enough to do that early on. Just saying. Yeah, how many of you guys well, I mean, I don't know. What are we too stupid to know? Sorry.
It's disgusting and
people, you don't realize this. I don't know what you don't realize, but you don't realize.
Insulting. The other thing, what people aren't understanding, they're this Bidenomics taking credit for lower inflation. No.
No. See, Bidenomics caused the big inflation last year, and Trumponomics caused the lowering of inflation this year. After. Because it works in waves. That's what it's kind of like the last administration's economic plans and strategies comes and goes in waves. It's kind of like the undertow. That's what it is. It's like Bidenomics is the economic undertow, and Trump is the wave that you can surf, and it just comes around in 48-hour cycles or 38-day cycles or 20. I don't know. It's
Year
gibberish.
1 to year 2, inflation skyrocketed.
Right. As the entire world came back online, stagger stopped in different countries, but the United States, above all, had more money to spend and more ability to get goods that were quickly becoming available again. And we grabbed that shit everywhere. We had boats fucking backed up at ports because we were just buying shit, and we won't fucking stop. One of the best things, the funniest things, that the recurring article on Bloomberg or Market Watch or any of these economic, even Fox Business talks about all the time about the American consumer won't just stop buying shit. They're supposed to be angry and poor. A rich man in Richmond won't let my Wayfair orders show up on time.
Year 2 to year 3, this is where we are right now.
Yes, where it's come down and prices have come down and things are getting better.
And it's still going up. It's just not going up as fast of a pace. It's not going down. They're full of crap. It's still substantially higher than when your father left office.
No, it isn't. It is not substantially higher than when your father. I'll give you an example. We looked at this like the price of fucking eggs the other day, or bacon. That's what we looked at for primary. Hold on one second. I gotta open that up. Make sure that's still there. People were thinking Thekus sings that song. I don't know that he knows it. Oh, hell yes, I know that song. The rich man is rich man. Make me work at Piggly Wiggly. And for shit wages and all these fat people on welfare that I don't like very much. Oh, yeah. Singing in my $2,000 microphone in the middle of the backyard. Playing on my $1,600 steel front guitar. I've been playing on this one since the label gave it to me because I got to deal with the fellers. I love that song, man. That rich fuckers in rich town up there in Virginia. Oh, I fucking love that song, man. One of my favorites. I don't know how you can not like that, man. Rich man and rich man. Put in a giant order at the plant where I work, so I got a raise. And shit, that doesn't fuck. Okay, hold on, I got it right. Fucking, some of these verses don't hunt. I just goes against the narrative. Yeah, I'll work on it. Don't worry. I'll put out my own version of that Richard Nixon in Richmond. That's what I'm gonna call it. Oh, whatever he said, I don't even remember. I'm glad you live in Richmond. That's
Eric,
great.
maybe the greatest.
Oh, shut up, Eric. The point I was trying to make was, let's see. Price of a dozen eggs. Let's see. Lot bacon divided at $5.39. Average based on 9 price point of Jimbo tone. Hey everybody, do. 35 cents cheaper than Las Vegas. Baltimore's 13% cheaper. Hold on. Let's see. And the United States. About two. Cost of living in the United States is at $5 monthly costs for a family of 4. $5,671 single person, $3,361. All right, them 2 kids and that spouse, they ain't that expensive after all. They fucking eat up most of what you got on that thing. Here's what we do. Okay, so cost of living are more expensive than 90% of countries in the world. Yeah, what you got? Choices. This is Expatistan. So obviously they got a dog in this hunt. Oh, thank you so much, sir. So this is cost of living in the United States. Summary of cost of living in the family of 4. Estimated monthly cost $5,671 a month. That includes rent, phone, everything, gas, blah blah blah. Single person $3,335. So you're not dodging much. I would say to all my single friends, get yourself a mate and make some kids, because it's not that much more in the level of productivity. And it's nice to have something to get you up in the morning. That, like that fear that your youngin' has gotten out of bed before you have. Nothing, that's people don't talk enough about the parental alarm clock. You know what I'm talking about? That, like, when you have a young one and you're like, he can work the doorknob, and you, like, when you've moved past, you guys, who knows what I'm talking about here? Come on. You guys know what I'm talking about. But anybody with kids knows what I'm talking about. That age when they reach, where they reach the age where you're like, I know they can open the door, and you're just like at 5:30 in the morning, like, is he up and walking around? Where is he? He's by the stove. He's by the stove. You know what I mean? Sock on the door. Oh, on the, like, so they can't turn the knob. Or tying it shut. Believe me, it wouldn't matter. My kid could pick a lock, so it doesn't matter. Biden should take credit for lower egg prices. I agree. And he is. They just don't want him to. So hold on. Let's see. Egg prices 2000 to present. Okay. Adjusted for inflation, eggs. Here we go. Let's see. Inflation adjusted. It's interesting. The inflation adjusted price is nearly identical. There's an overlap. This is fascinating. So this is the current. No, I don't know. Talk about two eggs. All right, here you go. This is fascinating. Egg prices adjusted for inflation, 1995 to 2022. So here's the price of actual eggs. This is what an egg cost. It's like 84 cents for a dozen, right? And adjusted for inflation, in 1980, that would have cost you $2.78. So basically, we're at 1980 egg prices as far as production of eggs and whatever. Okay, then it cascades down. We get to about 2001, 9/11 happens, and it starts to go back up again because travel costs and checking shit and eggs coming across the border from Mexico or Canada or some shit like that, or egg products coming from after they've been processed coming across, they're checking everything, and so the price goes up. But you'll notice that the price of eggs just continues to climb. Part of it is, by the way, is a little thing that Trump likes to take credit for, which is the lack of safety regulation. So in times like, in 2016 and the like, by the way, here's 2012. So at some point, 2015, egg prices were almost at parity with what they would cost now, dollar for dollar. And then they just took a giant shit. So there's no material reason why this is. And they might have gone up because of avian flu or some shit right about here. You know what I mean? That blowback. But then, during Trump, they were down here as far as the actual production price. But the cost of it, as far as, matching your wages, was higher, far higher. The gap between what it actually cost to produce an egg and the profit made on eggs was higher during the Trump administration. The distance, talk about like income inequality, that would be an example of it. Meanwhile, after we all are in the same fucking boat post-COVID, 2022, inflation adjusted $2.85, and it's almost exactly the price to actually get them someplace. And again, this has a lot to do with avian flu. So here's the lineup. This right now, according to this, eggs, you're basically buying eggs at like wholesale because of avian flu and getting back online and catching up with what was there. Okay, so then we go. But 20, there you go. 22 is what they had the last one. This is 286. Eggs are one of the many food items tracked by the BLS for calculating the overall rate of inflation, consumer price index, blah, blah, blah. Oh, egg prices, okay. And then I just find that fucking fascinating over the last year. So, and again, yes, we do have a situation where, is this gonna even work? Will that computer set up later? Oh, good Lord, set up later. Yes. Get back in there, you silliness. I understand it's not support. Yes, I get it. The important thing, though, is the sheer number of buttons I have to fucking push. Oh God, it's just opening Windows. I can't even do my 5 eggs right now. It's so sad. Contribute, Venmo. All right. 5 eggs, exactly. So, point being is that the cost of eggs, for example, or the cost of bacon even, as far as jobs at meat processing plants where they had to make up for that when there's a lack of workers for those things. There's a lack of, there was a huge lack of eggs because of avian flu and the number of chickens that had to be culled. And now they're coming back. It takes about, I want to say 9 weeks to go from a chick to an egg-laying hen, and then takes them a little longer than that to actually be highly productive. So that was and a lot of people didn't want to start the process if those chickens they were gonna just die, so what's the point? So that caused an extra delay in this in general. All right, so anyways, back to where we were with these dickheads talking about, remember, it's terrible in America right now. Everything is terrible, and you have not been to the store, and you dare not go to the store because everything is super expensive.
Channel on any of the social media platforms you can follow is the White House channel, and they'll do that. They'll have inflation. We've had the largest drop of inflation in 25 years. It came down 1%. Yeah, congratulations. You took inflation from Donald Trump, which was 1.5%, 1.9%.
Because we were headed towards disinflation or deflation because no one was working and nothing was being produced.
In a couple of the years,
only the Trumps would fucking pine for the perfect time in America was July and August of 2020. That was, if these assholes could pick, and he looks fine. If these assholes could pick the first, the pinnacle of Trumpism, it would be those 2 months, July and August of 2020. Fucking perfect. You know what I mean? Like, we're in this giant, basically hermetically sealed world where everybody has to be checked for COVID 20 fucking times before they can even walk in the room, much less shake our fucking hand. We have everything delivered to us. We don't have to go out for anything. We've got government health care and Secret Service protection at all fucking times. And who's dying? People with pre-existing conditions. What Henry Kissinger famously called the useless eaters. And the Trumps were like, well, we just got, some of the right people just took a powder and, freed up some jobs for real Americans. How fucked up do you have to be that's your idea of a good time?
Perfect inflation numbers.
The perfect inflation numbers. Asshole, that was at the height of COVID. That wasn't inflation. That was the collapse of an economy.
You took it skyrocketed to 10, 11, 12%. And now that you totally screwed up the system, you're bragging that 10% is now 8% or it's now 7%. So that's
it's 4.
It's the largest decline. You screwed the system, Joe Biden. Don't take credit for trying to fix something that you screwed.
It's your fault that things are recovering. It's like my dad said. All the fuck ups are because of you. But when things get better, it's because of us after the thing. What the shit?
Effectively, the fire chief and the arsonist. You go light a house on fire and then you put the house out and you claim victory for.
It's the other way around. You have to be the arsonist. Fire chief. I think in those situations you're more an arsonist than the fire chief.
No, that's not how the system works, Joe.
Yeah, but he didn't actually. COVID literally was the reason why. It's a supply shock. And again, I would love for any of these motherfuckers to explain to me their economic reasoning behind why inflation occurred. What was the cause of it? And if you boil it down to that we didn't do the Keystone XL pipeline, which was fucking not even online yet. So what the idea is that everybody factored in the cost of their goods and services based on an oil price that didn't exist and might never exist because again, this is just Canadian shale oil going to market in a slightly bigger tube.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's when you
sorry.
go to a retail store and they've already jacked the price up to 300%, and they say,
fuckers, retail. Am I right? So those fucking store owners, you know what I mean? Like Target with their fucking 2%. That's not a lot.
well, guess what? We're down 20%. You might want to buy this item. It's still substantially higher.
No, it's not. Look, not everywhere it falls under the Guitar Center rule, you fucking idiot. Can I show you guys something? This might be a surprise. This might be a surprise for something. Now, real quick. Let's see, where's the timing on this? Yeah, here we go. So let's talk about gross operating costs, net 6.2. There we go. All right, so the highest, is this the highest? Wait, let me see if this is the highest. Pretty close. All right, so here's how real economics works if you're not an idiotic rich kid legacy Horton child. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the profit margin enjoyed by Target. This is, if I may, let's slide this over a little bit, okay? This is Target. Well, fucking shrink down, you bastard. Hold on. Let's see if I can control. There we go. That's better. Let's shrink this in, bring it in like this. And there we go. I'll try to bring it to here. And then I'll try it again. There we go. All right, now, so this is all time from here's way back in starts at 2009. The margin, which is what whatever the markup is, they mark stuff up approximately about 30%. The max they've ever done, the maximum markup that Target has done overall is 30.98%. That seems to be the top end right here. None of this even came close. 30.36 is here. 30.32. It's even been lower ever since. But let's point this out. Okay, so Target, if you like the store, if you hate the store, or you think, oh my God, they're goosing prices and they're fucking with everybody, and retail was the worst and they fucked everybody and they blah blah blah. I'm sorry to disappoint you if you feel that way, but let me see. I gotta move this over so that if I have to show this later. That if you'll notice right here, this is here's 2020, where they were humping along, right? And then the cost of getting shit skyrocketed. The cost of fuel, the availability of goods, all that stuff started to go up. So right around, here's 2020, everything took a shit because nobody was buying anything. And then it started to hump back up because people wanted stuff again. And then you hit, here, this is after Biden takes office. Right after he takes office in April, at the end of April, beginning of May, it reaches not its all-time high, but the kind of normal operating point that it used to have. And this is a fascinating drop. We'll look at this in the bottom. Okay, the top line is the gross margin, how much they mark shit up. The second line is their operating costs. And the third line is their net margin. Like, this is how much they actually, profit-wise, what they're getting. This is what they make on, on everything. And by the way, their profit was very high at this point compared to other times, but not extraordinarily so. It was an extra 2% on stuff compared to the operating costs, which went up 5%. Here's the gross though. Okay, so then here we hit 7. This is July of 2021. Their gross margin, what they could afford to charge on stuff, and what their operating cost was, because they did a lot of stuff online and blah 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 over the last little bit, and how they've shut a bunch of stores and shit like that. cadavered. And then down here, if you look at the net margin, Target is now making currently a 3%. They net 3% on all their sales. See this little tick up right here? It was 249 and it goes to 312. Here's their operating costs. It was at 351. It dropped all the way down to 351. And then it spiked up to 436. And still their net did not follow. Their cost, they jacked this part up and it went almost entirely to wages because they needed people to actually fucking work. And so your average Target makes 3% on do the Walgreens numbers? God, like with or without organized theft. So yeah. They live it. Yeah. Try not to live in Starboard. And by the way, I do have an entire family. You do realize that? Yes? All right. Thanks very much, though. It's very sweet. But yes, I agree. Do that. But I think that's important. I like Target totally better than Walmart. Walmart, by the way, is not that dissimilar. Now, Walmart used to be the mom and pop killer. That was the narrative around Walmart for a long time, and not surprising. Because that's effectively what they did for a good long while. However, Walmart, let's see, profit margin. Let's see if we can drag that up over the last little bit. This is macro trends. Here we go. Theirs is even lower, not by a lot. And fascinatingly enough, like theirs seems very disjointed in terms of it, but it's always been lower than Target's. But only by, I think, a percentage point or so. But also they make it up by volume. So here's the first, there's January 2022. Well, let's go back to, yeah, here's let's see, this is 131, 2019, is 2020. Let's go to, there you go. Let's go back here, 131.20. So here's the beginning of COVID. And at that point, you have this, like their gross margin was on its way down, and then COVID hits and their gross margin starts to go up because they're having a difficulty getting shit. So but interestingly enough, their costs go up a lot. And this speaks to what's available at the store. What you're actually buying from Walmart is that the net margin reached an all-time high for them, or maybe, no, it's back here, 387. Yeah. So pretty close to a spike in October of 2020, right at the height. And this is because of Walmart.com and a lot of right-wingers only buying from Walmart and hating Amazon and Bezos and all that shit. So they saw a huge spike in online sales. But because of that, and they run so many retail stores, the online sales actually ate into their margin. And for a long time, it just went down. So at one point, the lowest ever was in 2018. That was their lowest profit margin, even though, again, this has to do a lot, with their competition with Amazon and Alibaba and all that shit. But it went up here, leveled out in 2022, and it went down. And now it's kind of eking back up, but it's still only at 2.23%. Their gross markup is 24%. They mark everything up 24%, about a quarter for every 75 cents worth of goods. They add a quarter to it to make it $1. Their operating costs are about 3.4% of that, and their net after that is the margin for that, anyways. And then of what they make, and then net is 2.23. Yeah. Funny, so most big retailers come in that fall. White Castle has a decent breakfast. All right, well, that's a good conversation. I'm coming back. I'm here. White Castle has a. Did I go away, Denise? Did you miss me? Let's see. You're proud to say you never bought anything at Walmart? I cannot say that because I've been on the road as a comedian since since the late 80s. So I bought something almost everywhere. Look out. Walmart was the first company to price fix products with China. China would not sell to any company at lower prices, forcing them out of business. Yes, and they also controlled the shipping. So the reason that they could set up stores that were cheaper, and this is a system that like China does, but in a very exaggerated form in Africa, for example. We've talked about that a little bit. So, beef stew and mashed potatoes and a burrito, that seems cumbersome. I miss Fry's Electronics too. I love that place, and it makes me sad that it's gone. When the shelves started to empty, it was very depressing, and it was never going to survive something like COVID. All right. Anyways, back to these idiots who think that according to, and again, we've just talked about probably the two biggest places that the average American shops at the most. There's Team Target and Team Walmart, largely, if you're going to a big kind of all-encompassing retail store, right? If you're not ordering it online, you're actually going there, right? You're going to either Target or Walmart. Very seldom do you cross over, yeah? And we've just shown you that the markup there, the overall markup is about 25 to 30%. The return on their investment in those items and that markup is about 3%. There's a 3% profit that they turn. And the only reason that's a lot of money is because they run so many fucking stores in so many different places. So what does that tell you about this motherfucker's shopping habits? Because let's listen to what he just said. Remember what I just told you about his, you know, like the cost of actual retail stuff. Like, and that goes for a lot of places, from Kohl's to Best Buy. Okay. Let's hear his explanation. Let him tell us what it's like to go shopping.
And they say, well, guess what? We're down 20%. You might want to buy this item. It's still jacked the price up to. It's exactly right. It's when you go to a retail store and they've already jacked the price up to 300%. And they say, well,
300%. Now, as I just showed you, I think this guy was fired for sexual assault. Yes, I think that's the standard birth canal version of Fox's career path, is that you pass through the Rapey McRape Pants birthing process, as it were, and then you get spit out into the interwebs forever, like Bill O'Reilly. Let's be abundantly clear here. I just showed you that for the last decade, since the beginning of Target, and for the last 3 fucking decades, Target and all these places have jacked their prices up about 30%. It has not varied that much. And as a matter of fact, it's actually that rise in price has actually gone up. Has gone down as the cost of labor has gone up. But it's still around 30%, 25, 30% most of the time. Really hasn't changed all that much in the last few years, even as COVID laid into everybody, period. Now, they will layer in with this the availability of eggs. And again, that has to do with simple supply and demand. There is less supply and the demand has not changed. So that's why the price of eggs went up. And restaurants who need them to stay in business are going to jump in there and buy fucking eggs at whatever price they can get them at, because they have a menu that has to, and especially when people were ordering food delivered at home, people were ordering, like, usually they would go out for or make their own breakfast. Like they would eat on their way to work, or they would actually make it at home and then eat lunch out, or, and then cook dinner at home or go out to dinner. These are your kind of staggered versions of how people consume food. And when it came to COVID and post-COVID for about a year, a lot of people were ordering all their fucking meals at home because they didn't want to go to the grocery store for a while. But understand, like, still fucking 30%. And ultimately, they only keep and give out as dividends to their stockholders and that kind of stuff, which is, by the way, not just rich assholes with a bunch of, like, index funds, but also, retirement funds and 401ks and like union shops have all their, their stock portfolios as well. They pay out with that 3 to 5%. And if it starts to go down too much, if that dividend goes down, people sell the stock and the stock goes down, and then they have less operating money to work with in terms of, there's a myriad of things. You guys get it. The point I'm trying to make is that this motherfucker turns 30% that really hasn't changed over the last 2 decades into they jacked it up 300%. Okay, so what the fuck is this guy buying? Besides high-end watches.
Hey, guess what? We're down 20%. You might want to buy this item. It's still substantially higher. My point is
And by the way, when the fuck does this guy go to the fucking grocery store? And by the way, if indeed you ever see me in Costco, just say hi. Just come up and say hi. Please do. You'll see me there because I buy my food in bulk and meal prep because I am a weirdo who eats oddly, and I also cook for the family, so I get all my stuff in large amounts. And then if I need something special, I'll go to either Whole Foods or I'll go to the Sprouts or I'll go to the Albertsons, and I can just kind of pick and choose what because some places have stuff the other ones don't, right? But I do my own shopping, so every time this motherfucker comes up and these guys talk about this like, yeah, could you believe what like normal people do at stores? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And even when it's expensive, you're like, I understand why it's expensive. Shit gets expensive sometimes. We're lucky to have the choice we do.
first year of Biden, prices skyrocketed.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why. It couldn't be possibly that the entire world was coming back online and America was ahead of everyone else. Nice hand gestures there,
That's
by the way.
their new base, so it went further higher at a slower rate, and they're taking a victory lap for that. We're still, and by the way, your father's 1.4% is better than perfect. 2% is the inflation rate that they go for, and he was 1.4% when he left.
When he left. At the height of fucking COVID, before we had a vaccine.
Hunter Biden. A lot of stuff came out over the weekend about Hunter Biden. Now, James Comer's Oversight Committee released some emails from Hunter Biden saying he's too busy to meet with whoever this person was he was going to meet with because he had to meet with the lawyers about impeachment. Hunter Biden said this, not when his father was vice president, but when your father was president.
Okay, so his dad wasn't in office? Again, why is this a conversation at all then? This wasn't even during the fucking campaign. What? Again, what? Honest to God. After that whole thing about somebody, was it Sean Hannity? I forget. They all fucking blend together now. Was it Hannity was like, that's illegal. And when he's talking about something that happened in 2017, you're like, no, it isn't. It's not even technically outside the ethics of government because nobody in that equation works in government at all at that point. Like, it's so odd.
Listen, the Hunter stuff is infuriating, and it's deeply...
It's infuriating. I agree. It's infuriating, especially for furries.
Personal to me, because if I ever jaywalked, if I literally jaywalked in the state of New York right now, they would try and find a reason to arrest me. If I hadn't...
No, they would just give you a ticket for jaywalking, I think, Also, do you walk anywhere?
An email that had a comma out of place. They try.
Okay. They do this one all the time. And can I point out that when you're talking about numbers, a comma or a period out of place, especially when you're dealing with numbers, is a major impact on the numbers that you're talking about. Yes? Yes? Okay.
And find a reason to literally throw me in jail for it. And then you see what this guy gets away with. I mean, Secret Service is pulling handguns out of...
How many people believe this asshole has actually written emails and stuff with commas out of place and has jaywalked and he's not in jail? Although he is on Newsmax, which is the next worst thing.
Dumpsters outside of, supermarkets in 2018.
Off the top of my head.
The guys going around the world taking money from Romania and China and all these other countries.
Where they won't give us money, and I don't know why. They, maybe it's because they get a return on investment in standard investments that he puts us into, whereas my dad just spends it on fish delights.
Haley Biden and another children, who have...
Haley Biden and another children.
Aren't in the business world, who have totally separate careers and totally separate jobs.
I'm sorry, what do you do? Besides, I understand you have a title. What do you do? I don't think anybody could answer it. Does anybody know what the fuck Eric Trump does for a living? Seriously. Anybody at the Trump organization, if they ever saw Eric Trump walking around with blueprints under his arm, they would start snickering if anybody still works there. What the fuck does this guy do for a living? I'm dead serious. Because say what you will about Hunter Biden, but the dude has a law degree. Like, he practiced law. He had a law firm. He represented people as a lawyer. Whatever. Feel how you feel about lawyers and the jobs they can do. I don't know. What the fuck does this guy do? What does he do? I'm waiting. Anybody? Do we have a Trumper or a maggot who can describe the latest Eric Trump project? Because I understand. I live in a way, and I have my entire life as a comedian, as an actor, and now as a live streamer, a professional streamer. That I'm in a precarious situation with what I do for a living because there is no material standard. Right? See, if you dig a ditch for a living, and if you've done manual labor, and I have in my life, again, if you ever set foot in the coals in Deerfield, I more than likely did the parquet flooring you're stepping on during my summers in high school. And when you do a job like that, or you are assigned to dig a ditch or build a piece of fence or something like that, and you go, okay, by the end of the workday, we want this to be this hole you're digging must be 3 feet wide and 6 feet deep. You got it? Okay, cool. And by the end of the day, you can walk over and go, is it 3 foot wide and 6 feet deep? Yes or no. If it is, fabulous. If it isn't, then why? And because I needed more help, or the backhoe broke, or whatever. But the point is, you can take a measuring tape and go, the job was done or not done. When you get into the arts, and this is why a lot of people lose their banana, as it were, there is no standard. Because to one person, if you write a song or you tell a joke or you act in something, to one person, you have singularly, with your tiny little shovel, dug the Grand Canyon, and it's a fucking miracle. And to another person, you made a puddle or fucked up their driveway. There is no baseline. It's all a matter of opinion. And that's fine. I take that as part of the job. That is, of all beyond even the hustle aspect of being an artist and making sure that you always can get food in your fucking face, whether you have a show or not, because there's no guarantee in that. It's not a guarantee if you have a factory or an office job, but there's a premise that you do when you're contracted or something. You can see. You can recognize, okay, it's going to be hard for them to fire me. I am necessary. Whereas there's always somebody jockeying for a cheaper version of your job when you're performing. We know this. This has been around forever. It's why we need unions in the arts, because people will kill themselves just for the fame part of it. So if they could. So you need a standard, so that's not required. Meanwhile, you could, whether you agree that I'm good at what I do or you like what I do, and I'll stand my body of work up against anybody's. I'm proud of it. And it's just getting started. But I even if you hate what I do, I actually do it. Right? Even if you think that I just come on here and I just bullshit and fuck with Trump and his family and all that kind of stuff and blah, 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 and you hate me because I'm a liberal and I say all the stuff that you don't like to hear about these people because it's true. At least you can argue that, I can argue that, hey, I'll be here tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow morning, I've got the morning show, and Philip Ittner will be joining us live from Kiev. And I am one of the few live streamers who actually has their own correspondent in Ukraine this whole time. I'm just saying. So, but can anyone, and I mean this sincerely, tell me what the living shit this guy does for a living? For real. Anybody? I'll wait. Anybody? Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you for liking this and giving me the validation that it's so necessary for an earthquake zone kind of zone, or like a career zone that I'm in. Thank you so much, Charlie. Anybody know what he does? Anybody? Wipe his dad's ass. Well, I don't even think he does that. What does Wiki say? That's a good question. Because it'll say he's the executive vice president. But what the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? Like like I said, I know he has a title. I just don't know what the job is. What does that mean? What does it mean to be an executive vice president of the Trump organization, other than arguably be a stand-in for his dad at certain meetings that his dad doesn't want to bother to go to, which makes you basically a development executive. Head Dingleberry. Ex-VP is this, that, and the other? Yeah. They pay him to go on right-wing media? Even that would make you a spokesperson, not the vice president of an organization. Yes, I know he can get the job, but can he do the job? I am not arguing that.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Right. So, honest to God, I don't know. And I don't think we're ever going to find out. I would love to ask him, like, what's your fucking day-to-day like? And if it's just like, oh yeah, as the executive vice president, I just basically, I'm basically my dad's border wall for dumb deals. I do know in his role as executive vice president of the Trump organization, he pled the fifth 400 times in the New York deposition, which is the exact same number of times his dad did. So he and his dad both knew not to say a fucking thing to any of those. Now, Ivanka and Don apparently did not. That was the weird part. But Eric which means that he's the executive vice president of being thrown under the bus, because that would tell me that Don Jr. gets the legit deals and Eric gets all the cast-off, fucked-up shit that will get you thrown in jail.
They're getting money from all over the place through shell entities and these complicated...
Mm-hmm. His father has 500 shell companies. Over 100 are just for bank accounts.
Structures. I mean, Eric, if I did 1/100th of that stuff, I would be locked up. The key would be thrown away. I wouldn't stand a damn chance. And then you see the DOJ.
Well, arguably, there's a couple of things. One, if you did 1/100th of that, you would be locked up and the key would be thrown away. But by your father, because he expects 1,000 times more crime than you're ever accusing the Bidens of doing.
And how they cover for Hunter, how they cover for everybody. You see these sweetheart deals. Effectively, they try and slow walk everything to let them off on just statute of limitations. It's thing after thing, and it's literally called.
It is thing after thing. I agree. What the way to sum it up? Yeah, I don't understand business lingo. Somebody contact me later and explain the business talk. It's just it's coming at me a little fast.
Costs the American people.
But then I didn't go to Horton.
It's caused them to lose faith in government. The United.
Mm-mm. Asshole, you have only courted people who only voted for your dad, who'd given up on the functioning structure of democracy a long fucking time ago, and now they're going to retreat back into the hills.
States of America's government it's lost its credibility. Our judicial system, our law enforcement has lost its credibility.
Our credit rating went down a couple of weeks ago. Eric,
No, it didn't. Finch lowered the bond thing to AAA or whatever.
The Oversight Committee now, I'm 90% sure Comer's.
And by the way, because of accrued debt, of which his father accrued more debt than any president in the history of the country, a full-on fucking third of it.
Up to somewhere in the ballpark of $50 million. $50 million that someone named Biden, Hunter, Stephen, daughter, nephew.
And you do realize you're talking to the son of a fake billionaire, right? Who literally told banks his properties were worth twice what they were worth and told the IRS they were worth 1/10 of what they were worth.
Someone named Biden got to the tune of $50 million. Does that sound like anything that they would stand by and say nothing this year if it was the Trump last name?
Well, you're kidding me, right? They haven't built anything since 1992. They're a branding organization that supposedly went up in value by $6 billion when they stopped building shit.
And they're not even in business. Tell me what they sell other than influence. You know.
Well, and if you're talking about specifically, let's just break down the deal with CEFC. That was to arrange for and guide the purchase of a $40 million. It was a $40 million deal to purchase a gas processing plant, a natural gas processing plant in the United States, in Louisiana, by setting up a subsidiary in the United States, which, by the way, would be under the regulatory rules of the SEC. Which is part of the reason the deal fell apart, because they refused to do it, and that was a deal breaker for Hunter Biden. Curiously enough, not a deal breaker for the Trumps. They never feel the need to bring those deals to the United States and set up businesses in the United States. They always offshore them. That's where a lot of their LLCs go. Weird. Anyways, so that one, it was a $40 million deal. There was 10% put in an account. If the deal doesn't go through, the 10% gets divvied up amongst the people who were creating the deal in the United States and doing all the footwork and that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what happened. They were all hoping to make, 10 of that 40, and they ended up making 3. That would be it. Also, in terms of, if he wants to just go into what do venture capitalists or investment bankers or investment, I would even go as far as people who put together ETFs or whatever. If you want to question that, is that a job? Knock yourself out. But it's not. None of these guys are going to do that.
We do hotel rooms. We do a lot of other things. Tell me.
You do hotel rooms. What a fucking giveaway. We do hotel rooms. Let me tell you why he said that. He didn't say we do hotels. That would be actually a fucking...
Tell me what they sell other than influence. You know what we do. We do hotel rooms. We do a lot of other things. Tell me.
We do hotel rooms. We do a lot of other things. Okay. No, he did not say we do hotels, because they don't build anything. They either get it, they gather a bunch of investors, or they're the face investor on another group of people who are putting in the majority of the funds. And then what they do is they sell themselves. They attach themselves. You're going to buy this thing, and it's not a Hilton, it's not a Marriott. They've turned you down already because they don't think there's money in it. So you go to the Trumps, and they'll spit polish it and put glitzy horseshit all over the rooms and make it look really gaudy and like old New York money bullshit. And then they'll slap his fucking name on it. Yeah, they'll brand it. That's it. That's why he said hotel rooms. Well, we cut you a deal, and it works like this. We get 2% of the cost of each room when it's rented, and we'll give you the sheets, which we have a deal with somebody else that's branded as well, because they sell Trump sheets and we get a piece of those. They just have to give us a certain number of them in bulk for the name, and and that all came from, living off the dad brand, the Trump brand from Fred, and then of course the Apprentice, and they turn that shit into, deals for sheets and pillowcases and fucking whatever else. And then they put that in all the rooms at cost, and they find some way to shuffle around the cost to the supplier. So they just basically stand back and shave fucking 2% off of everything and pretend to be rich. It's a great flim flam. And it reminds me of the, Tom Hanks as the Colonel in the fucking Elvis movie. Yeah, that and Saudi money laundering.
What they sell, right?
They sold America, Eric. They sold America.
You know what?
They did. They sold America, and America's not for sale. We are not open for business. We are a communist country, and nobody makes money. Oh. How'd they sell America if they weren't in office at the time? How did Hunter Biden sell America if it was...
If somebody came into one of our hotels when my father was president, and they were from a foreign country, a government official from a foreign country, and we found out about it, you know what we do? We donate all the money for that, that margarita that they bought at the bar, donate it back to the United States Treasury. And these guys who...
The fuck out of here. They were renting entire floors. I take it back. I guarantee that's exactly what he did. Like margaritas at the bar, they'd make a big stink out of that, and then of course they rented. He didn't even okay, that's just nonsense. Good Lord. I mean, honestly.
Bullshit!
That is, I thought we would have a winner, you know, earlier in the night, but that pretty much fucking nails it. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, just we'll just like exclusive. Foreign government leases at Trump World Tower stir more emoluments concern. The U.S. State Department allowed 7 foreign governments to rent luxury condominiums in New York's Trump Tower in 2017 without approval from Congress, according to documents and people familiar with the leases, and what some experts say could be a potential violation of the U.S. Constitution's emolument clauses. The Manhattan Building, part of the real estate empire of Donald Trump, had housed diplomats and foreign officials before the property developer became president, but now that he's in the White House, such transactions must be approved by federal lawmakers, some legal experts say. The emoluments clause bans U.S. officials from accepting gifts or payments from foreign governments without congressional. The rental transaction, dating from early months of Trump's presidency and first disclosed by Reuters, could add to mounting scrutiny of his business dealings with governments, which are now subject of multiple lawsuits. The new information raises serious concerns about the president and his business's potential receipt of payments from foreign governments. Cummings said in the statement to Reuters, the American public deserves full transparency. We know, of course, now that never fucking happened.
Aren't in the business world, don't have hard assets, that are going around, flying around on Air Force One, Air Force Two, all over the world, peddling their influence, peddling their name while their father's in office, are taking somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 million to use your number and pocketing it. It's
also, yeah, Eric, make that face. Pocketing it. Because it was divided them up. I love how they're like divided up amongst Biden friends and family members and associates. Largely Hunter and then the other associates. And when we look at Burisma, I think the key thing about Burisma is, and I'm sorry, am I pronouncing that correctly? I always get it.
Company that his son worked for. That's
Burisma. Sorry, Burisma. That if we look at Burisma, of the whatever $6.5 million that were allegedly made during his time on the board, 3.9 million of it, the lion's share, went to Devon Archer. But Devon Archer is an honest purveyor of business and deserves to be heard as somebody who is a legit witness, even though he got more money from Burisma than Hunter did. How's that? It's almost like they're ignoring it, like they did Gal Luft's status as a Chinese spy for 2 decades.
disgrace. I would be in jail for doing exactly that, but because they have a Democrat, meaning because there's a D before their political party, and because the
Yeah, if only the GOP would rename their party the Republican Party, which, quite frankly, now that I say it out loud, sounds like something that they would be for. Republican.
entire system
Is kind of actually their anti-democratic attitude. You might be onto something, dum-dum. The Republican Party.
is weaponized. These guys get away with murder. And Eric,
Not literally.
the entire country understands the system. They understands the imbalance in the scales of justice.
Oh, the imbalance.
It's wrong. We're better than this as a country. We're a hell of a lot better than this as a country. We've got the
Well, we are now.
most corrupt president and first family in the
Living in a rental property in Florida, oddly.
history of the country in the Oval Office right now. And it's somebody better start paying attention to it. Otherwise, this is
Yeah, have you guys been paying attention? Honest to God, I've been so busy. I have not noticed anything. Did they even pass an infrastructure bill? Kind of remember vaguely or something. Are we still in Afghanistan? We are, right? We're still in Afghanistan, aren't we?
going to be status quo in Washington for a long time to come.
No doubt. No doubt. Eric.
No doubt. So true. So true. I mean, you can't argue with that. I wouldn't know what to say. Except like, subscribe, support the show, and hi. Thanks for being here. Also, let's see. Do I have time? Shit. Keep running out of time. All right. There's I don't know. God damn, there's so much good stuff and it's all nuts. All right. Somebody is filling in for Jimmy Dore. I've never seen this person. Allegedly, the CSL dropped this in my gift box of videos today, and I dare? Stupidity and arrogance. But I just love the title of this. This is why the rest of the world hates us. And apparently it's Imran Khan and all right, we'll see.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Dore Show. Craig Pasta-Jardula here with Kurt Metzger in the house and the big guy hanging on through. So we've been talking a lot about Kurt, what's going on in Pakistan, right? With the whole situation with the elections. You know, we had our
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Kurt's up on Pakistan. Absolutely.
good friend on Salman Ahmad, who talked about his good friend Imran Khan being arrested. They're really kind of fugazi, phony charges. And the reason why I want to do that is they kind of what they're trying.
Isn't it Fugazi? Isn't Fugazi the kind of slanderous way of saying? Never mind.
To do here when they're trying to throw Trump in jail right now so he can't be part of the election? Well, that's what they're trying to do over there. Well,
yeah, basically the Democrats are the ruling party in Pakistan. Well,
Antony Blinken over the weekend, Friday, said congratulations to the new Pakistan interim prime minister. As Pakistan prepares for free and fair elections in accordance with its constitution and the rights to freedom of speech and assembly, we will continue to advance our shared commitment to economic prosperity. They do it right in your face. They had this guy thrown in jail. It was people who worked for him.
Yeah, how did they do it? Did they just look like Anthony Blinken's bunch of white guys from Virginia? They all flew in together.
It was his order. They threw Imran Khan in jail, and now they're prepared to go through with elections. They did this in Brazil. It worked too.
Why would they, if they're throwing him in jail, why would they, now they're preparing to go through elections? What's the point of a fucking coup if you don't get to install your person? This is I don't know. I just think Anthony Blinken doesn't know how to coup correctly. I mean, if you're gonna, it's like Ukraine, you know what I mean? You get Yanukovych out, and then you install your guy, and you make sure he never leaves. That seems to be how isn't that how you coup? And yet, these guys, I don't know why they don't know how.
With Lula, they had him in jail, and they want to do the same thing over here as well. And pretty much the prime minister.
Wait, is Lula a bad guy or a good guy now? Wait.
Imran Khan in jail, and now they're prepared to go through with elections. They did this in Brazil. It worked to a T with Lula. They had him in jail, and they want to do the same thing over here as well.
Wait, if I may. Yeah, that's I think this is who he's talking about. Let's see. Wait, let me try to. So they threw. They threw. The argument is that Anthony Blinken and his ilk or whoever like him or the deep state or some shit threw Lula in jail as an attempted coup against Brazil to control the state, and then they did that, and then he. If we're talking about the same person, he's now the head of Brazil after elections. Why did we throw him in jail if we were going to? Okay, as the leader of Brazil, South America's largest country, biggest by far, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has enormous clout and ambition to match. 6 months into his third term in office, after a 12-year absence, the gregarious Brazilian leader, known for his Lula, yes, he's running Brazil right now. After they had elections. By the way, Trump supported his opponent. Maybe that's why. So Lula's got to be bad because Trump supported. Yeah, okay, I get it. All right. So, anyways, you were saying,
and pretty much the prime minister. Well, one thing I do want to point out is that you see that it says readers added context. It goes, the U.S. State Department under Anthony Blinken on March 7th, 2022, encouraged the removal of Pakistan.
Encouraged? Jesus Christ! Can you encourage someone? Is it technically encouraging if you point a gun at them? Because if they're not, then they're just encouraging them. I felt encouraged a couple of times. I wouldn't call it an international incident.
Pakistan's previous democratically elected Prime Minister Imran Khan. In April 2022, Imran Khan was removed from power and arrested. This is helpful. It's just saying readers added context.
This is helpful. No, it says, do you find this helpful? It doesn't say it is. He just kept reading.
They thought the people might want to know. And
they did? What do you mean? People like you who wrote in that kind of stuff, or Elon Musk?
Kind of interesting. That's something pretty cool over there where they're doing the opposite of what they used to do.
That's because this isn't, yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, totally. It's totally. Oh, Kurt's not happy. Why isn't Kurt hosting? That's what Kurt's thinking right now. Why does this guy get to host? Jimmy's on break. Aaron Mate comes in. This guy comes in. Kurt, what's going on, buddy? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Saying that's kind of cool. And this is the Prime Minister saying, thank you so much. While chairing the first meeting, the cabinet reaffirmed that the government will extend all necessary support to the Election Commission of Pakistan for holding free and fair elections. He vowed to honor all international commitments, ensure the rule of law, and financial discipline, saying that the newly constituted
This all sounds terrible, I agree.
Special Investment Facilitation Council holds the key to the economic revival of Pakistan because they're in a lot of financial trouble right now.
Right, but I mean, obviously that's not Imran Khan's fault.
So he reiterated that Pakistan would continue.
He reiterated it? Good.
To extend diplomatic and political and moral support to the oppressed people of the illegally Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir until the issue is resolved. So pretty much he's just standing behind.
Through a plebiscite as enshrined in UNSC resolutions. The oppressed people of illegally Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir until the issue is resolved through a plebiscite as enshrined in the UNSC resolution. So the biggest problem with this guy, and the part that this guy left off in his reading of this guy's statement, is that the dispute over Kashmir and Jammu between India and Pakistan will be resolved peacefully. Apparently, that's the biggest issue that this guy has.
This is the new Prime Minister.
Horrifying. Horrifying. Where is the saber rattling? I mean, Pakistan's a nuclear power. Why the fuck do they don't have to take shit like this?
The inserted one, and they're going to go through with the elections while Imran Khan is in jail. And there's some crazy stuff that has been found out because
Imran Khan, economic genius.
Imran Khan was the Prime Minister.
Yes, and basically Pakistan was doing as good as it could possibly do.
He was removed. They put another Prime Minister in place, but the president has a 5-year term, stayed in power, was an ally of Imran Khan, and we'll watch what he said. But I got these two clips from Jeffrey Sachs talking to the boys at the door.
Yeah, Jeffrey Sachs, the pro-CCP dude who's always arguing that we should just let Russia have Ukraine, let China have Taiwan, and go back to just wink and nod slave labor everywhere.
Iran, and this is some great stuff here. Listen to what Jeffrey Sachs has to say about the whole situation.
No. You know why? Because say it your fucking self. Say what you will about my cute little show here, and I mean that. Tell people, remind people that we exist. We're growing. We're close to, are we at 56,000 yet? We hit 55, and I was very excited. I'm hoping we'll get to our 100,000 number fairly soon. But one of the things you'll notice is that I don't farm out good ideas or my opinions to other people. If I have something to say, I'll fucking say it. I won't go, ugh. And if I do, I'm not going to just play their fucking clip on my show and go, see, smart, huh? I'm going to reference it like Peter Zion's clip the other day, for example. I showed you guys that he had a piece about it, and we added the link to it so people could look at it about the Iran deal, for example. I'm not going to just fucking sit there and go, huh? Because that's what, we have done, and this is part of the whole, Jimmy Dore. Arguably, this is the business model. And maybe this is what he thinks communism and Marxism is, which is anybody's work is everybody's work. And if you've done some work, I can reap the rewards of your work because it's, we're all in this together, even though you thought it up and did it and put it together and worked on it. And I'll just Are you going to finish that? It's basically, that's the business model. You're going to finish that? That's the whole thing. And how many times have we watched Jimmy Dore like throw up a fucking clip of Tucker Carlson or some shit and go, we're going to watch this. And he plays it and he's like, And it's not, I understand if it was like breaking news, if it was a live thing. Like sometimes we played somebody going live on something and we're commenting, I'll comment on what's going on with it because it's happening at that fucking moment. Oh, the HuffPost ethos. Yeah, that's what I would call the barrel edition idea, which is just borrow other people's shit. It's arguably what like Hassan caught shit for the other day, or I mean over the last couple of months it's been getting worse. But he just basically will sit there and fucking eat food while playing other people's videos in a fucking window without commenting, without adding anything to it, without criticizing it or working, with the material and going, okay, this is an idea that you see a lot and this is why it's right or wrong, or this is my 2 cents on it. Not even doing any of that shit. Just fucking playing it. See that? Yeah. I'll just take the ad rev on my giant fucking channel from somebody else's work. No. What a stupid fucking idea. If you go, I mean, it's one thing to go, it's like Jeffrey Sachs said, he said this, and I agree with it, and here's why. That's what you do. You don't just fucking run a clip and go, see what he said? Dude, fuck what he said, bro. What he said. Lazy, fucking thieving motherfuckers. Thieving. Thanks for the stars. Look at that. Facebook bringing up the rear. Look at you guys. Thank you. Because say what you will, and I will, as many times as I will ask for support for the show as I'm trying to get better at doing, and that's the thing. It's like I have to keep doing it or it drops off. That's just the nature of the internet. That's how it works. It's like you'd almost think that on a regular news show, you just understand that you should buy Zantac for the next year or some shit. If you have gastrointestinal issues, you should just buy that purple pill because you saw an ad on it in January, and then they could just run the show the rest of the year. But they don't. They run ads all the fucking time. And everywhere you go, there's fucking billboards. And there's a reason for that because you have to remind people that, take some effort, take some work, take some gear, take some thought, take some time, and the person also has to eat. But at the very least, I two things, if I may toot my own horn, and if I gotta stretch before I do it, I know, is one, when I ask for your help, I only want you to help if you absolutely can, and it's you can do it with ease. If it's any difficulty for you at all, please don't do it. Just know the show is here for you because I'm just trying to cheer you up and make you recognize that the OK Doomer crowd are fucking liars. And the sun's going to come out tomorrow. And in the meantime, the people that can help, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing it. And I want everybody else to remind, to remind those that can't afford to give or whatever. I want to remind you guys, just thank the people who do. Just let them know. Say thanks for doing this. It's great. It's great, and it's only got that. It's only valuable if you can do it freely. That said, I am 100% comfortable asking for it in that way and giving the work that I give as opposed to this phoning in fucked up bullshit. Check. Look at that. I was attacked. No, it's the deep state. It's the deep state. It was the deep state. I was attacked by the deep state. I don't know why that happened. What button happened? Where did you go, you strange button? Yeah, there's no reason for it. I don't know. It is very strange. Anyways, after that deep state attack, where was I? Oh, yes. Just, again, I want people to be able to enjoy the show. I appreciate people who help me make the show possible, and everybody who makes the show possible. Please, if you can't do that, or you're not comfortable doing that, or whatever, or you're not there yet, you haven't reached that point where you're like, you know what? I'll send that fucker a cup of coffee. I'm fine with that. If you're not there yet, at least thank the people who do. There you go. Does that make sense? I believe in Chip, too. I think he stepped on my my floor pedal that's down there. Could be. Anyways, I'm going to sign out. I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning show, by the way. Philip Ittner will be joining us from Ukraine. Lots going on there. They've broken through the line again, and it looks like we're headed towards a major push. Over the next, 4 weeks, it seems like they're making a push for the water, and it's going to be a big deal. Also, yes, Soros does not pay me a dime. I've been waiting for the check, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know why. Maybe somebody can explain that. Anyways, I adore you guys. I appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for being there. Where's Chip? Usually he's around when he was, I'll tell you what. Chip, there he is. Hi, buddy. What you doing? You want to come here? Come here. And I think move this over here, see if, Chippo, come here. Hold on, we'll see if he comes in. Are you coming in? No, I gotta bring him. What you doing? What you doing? Hi, buddy. How you buddy doing? How's your buddy to do? How's my big buddy? How's he doing? How's your buddy to do? Oh my God. All right. So TMI, I have this sweat blanket thing that I do that I love. And it's like a red light therapy thing that I got as a gift 2 years ago, and I use it pretty regularly. And Chip gets very nervous when I'm in it because he can't understand why I'm wrapped up and I can't move, and you can only see my head sticking out of the top of it. And he'll sit on my chest and meow and go, "What's wrong with you? Where are your arms? Normally you can scratch me and pet me like this, like a boy. See that? Like a buddy, like a buddy." Like a buddy, like a my boy, like a my boy. And he gets so weirded out by it. Hold on, and then we go to cat cam. Nope, is that the right one? Where it is? Cat cam. Here we go. There he is. There's Cat Butt. Come here, buddy. What are you doing? Come on. See if he comes back in. In the meantime, by the way, that see that black case up against the wall over there on the floor, right here. That's my bagpipe. I've got my bagpipe out, and I'm going to learn to play it. That's one of my goals for the next half of the year. Yeah, that hit July, and I got my bagpipes out, and there he is. Yeah, boys. Hi, buddy. What you doing? Where's he going? He's like, I'm just going to lay here and chew on a wire and freak you out. And that's all we can do. Chip, man, what you doing, buddy? Hey, man, hang out there for a second. Well, you and I'll both go have some cat food. I like that stuff. It is good, man. I got to tell you, we call that Pikeville pate. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of cat food and a finger. That's all you need. That's what we do. Come on now. So we'll be with you in a second there, Chipper. Just hang out for a moment. It's good. I do like, hey, man, it ain't cat food if you're eating it. That's legally. Okay, so one time I'm in court, and look, I will freely admit that the phrase I have used most often in a court of law is, Your Honor, see what happened was, and basically from there it just kind of goes off the fucking rails. But the important thing is that we have he and I have family dinner together, and it's delicious, scrumply dumptious. I will sometimes, if I'm feeling fancy, you can take it up there and throw it on the fryer for about split second, turn on high heat and drop it on there, just straight out of the can, just fuck, and it hits the thing, and it sear it, nice good crunch on it, and then you get your skillet, Chip, don't attack them, Chip. Do not attack and kill. Do not destroy them. They are the chat room. They're good people. He's going to destroy you. It is Chipzilla. Run for your lives. Don't do it, Chip. Don't do it. Why are you attacking them? You violent monster. Run away, people. Everybody, get chat room. Run for your lives. Get out of here. Go for free your mind and the rest will. No, that's not what I want to say. Get out of there. He's going to get you. Where is he? He's going to get you. All right, Chip, be careful there, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just a fan. You're going to be all right. Get out of here, man. Okay, folks, he's looking the other way. He's looking the other way. Now's your chance to escape. Go. I'll keep him busy, okay? Oh, God. Oh, don't do it. Chipper, don't do it. Don't kill them. Do not attack. Don't. Let's go get a snack. Come on. What? Oh, he knows it now. Oh, it's snack time.